thriving, successful, grounded, growing, profitable Black-owned businesses in Clarksville, Tennessee. I want to see people come in and take their passion to the next level, to be profitable, to be successful, and to also have longevity.
Welcome back to another episode of the Inclusive Business Lab, the podcast. I'm excited today to have Tiffany Perkins, aka Tiff, on today, and we're going to be talking about building wealth locally and what that looks like. So I will give Tiffany a chance to introduce herself and tell us about her background and how she came to be this amazing entrepreneur and business advocate for all of us. Welcome, Tiffany.
Hey, Keish. Thank you so much for having me. I've been really excited about this and just the work that we've been doing. For those who don't know me, I'm Tiff Perkins. I am a digital marketer by trade. So background in full-scale marketing, but I kind of found my niche in digital marketing. So SEO, Google Ads, and then really fell in love with social media. So helping businesses run their social media platforms, back-end website, social media ads, and things like that. And just my love of all things creative put me in an event kind of mode. So then event planning, event promotion, event marketing, and things like that. From there, COVID happened, right, and changed everybody's life and had me kind of pivot in what it is that I wanted to do, rethinking, what I really cared about and like trying to find some value-based work. And from there, Black Clarksville was born, just really trying to find a space for my community, a hub for all things for the culture, by the culture, really cool, updated, creative cultural events, community events, business networking, youth programming and different things. And so now we're in the space to grow. And now we've gotten our Black Clarksville Business Group, which I'm really excited about. Been in the canon for a long time. And I think it was really you and I crossing paths that it was like, okay, it's time. The things were to the point that I could take them, and I needed someone else to come in and kind of assist with that. And I've been amazed by how awesome you are. So now we're, branching out into that space with Black Clarksville. So it's just been a really, really crazy journey, but a great journey. And excited to see what's next.
Yes. And if you didn't hear all that and you weren't able to transcribe all the things she said that she does, 85 businesses in one person, which I absolutely love, because I think in this business, they're like, oh, niche down and you have to do one thing and focus. But for some of us, we are multi-passionate. We want to have our hands in everything. And that's just how we operate. So I think that's what really connected me or drew me to you. I had to stalk her a bit, just FYI. And come to all of her events. Look, when I see Tiffany post something and it has a ticket for sale or something, I don't even know what it is. I'm like, check out. That's why I won that candle from that amazing, what's the name of the candle brand? I won at the Galentine event.
I pronounce it wrong every time.
Okay.
So I don't want to say it wrong. I think it's myrrh, MYRRH.
Yes, it smells amazing. But okay. I won that for immediately going to purchase a ticket after she posted a Galentine's event, because I'm there, right? Brown's Girl brunching coming up. I'm there for the culture, by the anything she posts. It's I'm there because it's such an amazing event, and she's running around being the host. She's done the decorations, the food, everything. And I just think that we're in the season of being jack of all trades, where it used to be hey, you need to focus on one thing. We're just in that season because so much is going on. Things are changing with the administration and everything. So that brings us to being in business, and specifically for minority owned businesses, what we've created this hub for, and having education in that. So what is your really hope for what does amazing look like for the Black Clarksville Business Group?
Oh, I love that question. And it's such a great way to phrase it, right? We all get caught up in what does success look like, or this group is successful and I need to kind of match that. And I'm never really on that type of time, but you get asked the question a lot and you want to compare. Amazing for me with the Black Clarksville Business Group is thriving, successful, grounded, growing, profitable Black owned businesses in Clarksville, Tennessee, right? I want to see people come in and take their passion to the next level. I mean, we've had our first, meetings and conversations, and there's people with like multi passions like us. There are people who are good at some stuff and don't really know how to round that out. To be profitable, to be successful, and to also have longevity. Also, there are a lot of Black owned businesses whose doors are closing, who are trying to scale a little bit too fast. So I think it's like really setting Black owned business up for success. And I say specifically Black owned businesses because that's my niche, right? And those are my people, and that's who there are a lot of other groups doing a lot of great things for all businesses. We specifically are focused on Black and minority owned businesses, because also that's a through line for funding. That's also some, grant qualifications and things too. And it's like rising tide sails all ships, but I want our ships to sail.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome, because one of the things you mentioned was longevity, and how businesses here in Clarksville specifically, because that's where we are, the doors are closing, right? And how do we create businesses? People, I think, are used to this microwave society that we're in, where they want instant results. And being in business, like you and I both, like, this is year 6 for me. I don't know what year is it for you?
Yeah, so 2019. Am I 6 too?
5. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're running businesses and we're unable to count how many years because because
we're in the work though, right?
I think that's Wednesday and those type of things, right? But we promise we're really smart when it comes to this stuff. But yeah, being in business this long, like, you see the shifts in, funding, administrations, and how that affects business, and how to create different revenue streams for your business. And I think a lot of businesses, they get excited about their passion, which is whatever the cooking, if they're opening a restaurant, and they don't understand the business aspects of things, of running, all the different departments that you need. And I think that's what we kind of have vision for the Black Clarksville group, is bridging that gap, right?
Yeah, bridging that gap. I think also, we, like you mentioned, we very much work in our business. And are very, very hands-on. I think also, how do we get people out of that, right? As we're both working our way out of our business, we're and it's because we're very protective, and that, just kind of is what it is, especially when you're doing multiple things. But also, when you build this ecosystem of successful, thriving businesses, there's multi-businesses, right? So like you said, we have that chef or caterer who's in the business group and wants to do this thing. Well, we may potentially also have a marketing professional or a videographer or photographer in this group, in this ecosystem we've created, that now can take some of those digital pieces off of that caterer so they can live in their zone of genius. And also now the photographer can. And so now we've created also this functioning ecosystem of partners, supporters, business growth partners, and also referral partners. So it's more than just one thing, right? We're literally trying to build and sustain a Black business ecosystem.
Absolutely, because the Black dollar circulates the least amount of time, and creating a ecosystem where we can circulate that dollar a lot more, right? We have somebody in every niche, every single piece of business position in Clarksville. I know for sure.
Who is Black?
Right. Who's Black? So getting the word out and getting people to come in and understand what it is that we're trying to do, and how there's so much room for growth, and so not a one size fits all thing, right? There's other groups, like you said, that are out here doing amazing things as well, and having all of us be able to function in the same capacity and still be successful is what I think the Black Clarksville Business Group is all about.
Yeah, no, I 1,000% agree. 1,000%. And I think it's important to have like those different groups as well too, because one thing doesn't work for everyone. What did they just do the census? 180,000 people here now. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head of like the Black ones. But Chamber of Commerce might work for some people, a different, you know what I mean? So like there's a bunch of different avenues. So we're just creating this space so that there's more options for Black owned businesses to find the learning style, the community style that they like and can thrive in. And it might be multiple of them, right? But I also love the fact that like as things have grown and like, we're having these conversations about all this nonsense with the administration and like stuff being rolled back and segregation and da 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 da. It's like we went from this space of like Black people literally not having access to almost anything, if anything at all, to now I want people to have all the options. Right. I want you to be able to throw a stick and hit 5 really great business groups that are helping you grow and thrive, and then hit 10 marketers. You know what I mean? Like I want us to have the access to make a choice on what success looks like for us and like who helps us succeed.
Yeah. What do you think is the most difficult part for a new Black owned business to succeed?
I think it's the business part, and I can speak on that from experience. Like you said, a lot of us start out because we have a passion and there's something that we're really good at, and there's this moment that it clicks of like, oh, I could be doing this for real. And we'll be so well versed in our skill. But no one has ever taught us the business parts, right? Like what's the difference in getting an EIN and having an actual registered business? Here we're city and county. So who is your business license registered with? Do you need both? Insurance, you know what I mean? There's all these steps that go into legitimizing and being able to grow. And we understand our craft. We understand that, even down the cost, right? Like we know what it costs to make X, Y, and Z, to provide a service, to do these things. We know our building expenses, but, what does that look like in scaling? What does that look like structurally when you go to get insurance, all these kind of things? They're going to ask you revenue questions. Are we tracking that? How are we following that? There's just so much of the business education that we don't get, or that we just haven't had access to or haven't taken a chance to look at because we're so in the work. And it's, I want to do my thing. This is what I'm doing. And then as you grow, it just starts to take off. And now you're like, I've been in business for X, Y, and Z years, but haven't been in business, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Totally understand that. I think one of the things for me too, which was why the first class that you gave was really good, was KPIs and tracking what metrics to track. There's a lot of vanity metrics out there, like Facebook likes and Instagram followers and all those things, but they're not converting, and really understanding how bringing people into your business and how the ROI of bringing those people in works and converting that. So I think that was one of the things that was hardest for me. It was like, oh, I'm doing all the things, but is that position or that person generating the ROI for paying out their position? If that makes sense. So yeah.
No, 1,000%. And I think that's also a thing we don't know. You're saying KPI and ROI. Do people know what that is, right? So your key performance indicators, return on investment. I think return on investment is like bottom line. Everything you go into, and I think that might be also a thing as well too, is like opportunities are fantastic, wonderful, love it. Is this opportunity really going to give you the return, right? So you start a small business, you say, ooh, I'm going to do 10 vendor fairs this summer. I'm going to spend $150 a piece to go to them. Are you covering that cost of what you're making, right? Are we asking the right questions about these events or these opportunities that we participate in, to make sure there's return on investment? What is the return on investment? And I think that's also that like business mind of like, now you have to level this thing up that you're operating, in order to be able to grow. And I think that's also something that we don't, necessarily have a grasp on sometimes in the beginning. It's like, I'm going to get out there. Every opportunity is great. Everything is good. And the next thing you know, you spent all this money on product and registration fees and having someone come and help you and do this. And you didn't sell what you needed to sell. Or now you have this excess of product because we didn't ask all the qualifying questions to make sure there would be some sort of return on investment. Or if brand awareness, name recognition, that kind of stuff is your goal, what are you doing to ensure that? How many business cards did you hand out? How many flyers did you hand out? Is there a plan to have someone leave the booth and kind of like go around? So, that's also like the business mind of like, once you decide this thing is going to be for real, where is the training or the information or the support to really be able to take it to that next level?
Yes. And you talk about vendor fairs and places to be seen and, networking, which is another reason I really love just Black Clarksville and the Black Clarksville Business Group, is because the opportunities to provide that network, even if you're a member or not, like coming in to see what we're about versus, having to pay and not sure what you're going to get. I think you can immediately see the investment is worth it just by coming to the mixers. The mixers are awesome. So if you are a Black business in Clarksville, you need to sign up to be a host for the monthly mixer, where you are able to showcase your business and meet new people that you probably, every time I come to one of these mixers, there's somebody we have our regulars, of course, but there's people that you just like, they're like, oh, I saw this on here and it's my first time. And it's just amazing. Like Clarksville it's a small, big town. And we talked about one of our goals being creating a millionaire from the Black Clarksville group. So we have hefty goals because obviously we're us, and we want to spread that wealth, here locally, because we both believe that it can be done, right? With the
1,000%.
It can be done.
We've got some people doing some phenomenal things, some phenomenal businesses already started, already going, great ideas. They just need support, right? And they just need someone kind of guiding them through those next steps. And I think also just supporting them. Right. Someone cheering and championing you on. Like, we know what it's like to like get it out the mud and really do every part of the business and be the marketer, the owner, the content creator, the administrative assistant.
Yeah, right.
So like, it's not like we're talking to them from a place of higher up and have never been in that situation. Like, we can really champion the work that they're doing, that there is success on the other side of that. And I think even that sometimes is what business owners need, is someone who really gets it.
Yeah. And let's talk a little bit about the ups and downs of business, because we all know that mental health is real and that mental health issues are exponentially higher in business owners, entrepreneurs, just because of the stress of everybody relying on you, especially if you have brought in employees and now you have to make payroll and all of these other things. So mental health, I think, is one of those spaces that gets overlooked when it comes down to doing business. And some days not wanting to get out of bed is a thing. So I think we need to normalize everything. I think we glamorize entrepreneurship because you see people with fur coats and heels and nice cars, and they're like, all of this stuff looks very appealing. But on the other end, how many days did they not want to get out of the bed? Who had to drag them to get to that photo shoot, right?
Yeah, and how many days weren't profitable?
Right.
I think that's the one thing of, like you say, the glamorization. And I love being an entrepreneur. Absolutely love it. I don't think I could go back to like, well, let me never say never, because you don't know, right? But I'm grateful to be in a position to be able to do something that I love and to be in this space, but it is hard. And I don't think enough people talk about, and like, just how hard it is, and how some stuff, like I text you the other day and you're like, what the heck are you doing up at 3:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like that, right? And yeah. Because you're in it, because you're an entrepreneur, because it's your business, you are responsible for making sure the things happen, making sure the things work. And if they don't work, you're also responsible for the pivot. So you're in it when it's great. You're in it when it's terrible, where other people can kind of come and go and maybe be contracted to a project or two, or like maybe one aspect of your business they own and they love, but you're in all of it. And I think we don't talk about that enough. And we don't talk about, like, sometimes the profit isn't the success in the moment, right? Like, maybe it wasn't a high sales day, but like, one of the things that I'm celebrating is like knocking out SOPs and putting things in place for structure of the business, right? We chase money. We want to be able to have the look, the fur, the this, the that, the best social media account. But if you got sick, does your business stop?
Right.
Because you don't have the paperwork in place. You don't have training, resources, access points to have someone else keep that thing functioning. And that's something I've been really thinking about here lately. So working on kind of going back to those initial steps. And I think, like, full transparency, I deal with my own you know, mental health, you know, chemical imbalance situation from time to time. Very much have a lot of anxiety. I do deal with depression. And so it's finding those right coping skills that allow you to still stay in the work, right? Like it's important to therapy, take whatever meds you need, like really making sure you're taking care of yourself, because this becomes such a high pressure space versus clocking in and clocking out for someone else and being like, I did what I could do from 9 to 5 o'clock. I'm off, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes
and I think
I'm
that's
not off, you know, ever.
that is such an important, because we already know that mental health in the Black community is something that's not talked about, right? So you add that added layer of entrepreneurship and then family, all the other things that we have to deal with, which is why I think it's super important that this space is created, because there's just nuances to being a person of color or in an underrepresented group when you're doing other things. I know a lot of people are like, why does it have to be Black? Why can't it be for everybody? And there's spaces for everybody, right? But there's just nuances to being in the United States of America in this skin, and being in business that are different and that have to be addressed. Like, we can't ignore them, and ignoring them doesn't make it go away. So creating these spaces is important, because I struggle with this a lot, honestly, thinking about, like, I would love for it to be everybody had equal access to everything, and that's what we're going for, right? But until then, we have to have spaces for Black entrepreneurs until equality is a real tangible item.
Yeah. And I think people think that we're making this up, right? There's some like thing we're trying to keep on. And so I all the time tell people I went through a business incubation program, white led, fantastic program. But from the time I got into the program, I was constantly being told, like, that's not really a business. That's not really feasible. I don't know that you try to do something else. I mean, for months on end, right? And I won't go into the story of like what made me change my pitch, but I was in the bathroom. I was crying literally right before I had to go pitch in front of this panel at the end of this program. And I was like, you know what? I'm going back to my original idea. That was good. It didn't make sense to her because she didn't get it.
Yeah.
It's good. I got second place.
Yeah.
Second place, a class of like 30 people, second place. No practice on the pitch. No, I literally pivoted in the moment, and that clicked to me of like, oh, you just didn't get it.
Yeah.
And you don't get me, and like where we come from in creating this business, right? And I think of, what's the Pop-Tart brand? Ghetto Gastro?
Ghetto Gastro. Yes. Yes. Same thing. Yeah.
I saw the comments. You don't get it, and that's fine, but there needs to be a space for people to have those authentic thoughts and ideas and not be called ghetto or that doesn't make sense, that doesn't align. Sometimes people outside of the culture just don't get it.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But it should also be okay for us to create the space for those people to thrive with their ideas in whatever respect that looks like for them. You know what I mean? I had a real life experience of that. We're not just saying, oh, Black people always have it hard. Oh, no one wants to support Black people. We're saying we're living experiences where people sometimes don't get our business ideas.
Yeah.
At all. And so we need business owners and people that have business knowledge to help us still push through authentically and push through in our truest form, so that when we get to a point that we succeed, we're not still code switching or wearing some mask, because we can stand up in our business and be proud of it.
Yes, yes. And for my business, my business is named after myself, Lakeisha Angelique Consulting. And just yesterday, I saw someone say not to name your business after yourself, because it looks like you're the only person in it. And especially my name, because I have a very ethnic name, as they call it, Lakeisha, right? And honestly, when I first started to use my business, I was going by my middle name only, Angelique. And the results were different when it was just Angelique versus Lakeisha Angelique. But it was important to me to go back, and like my mom, she didn't just like randomly pick a name. She named me this, and we had a whole conversation about her naming me and like why. And also knowing that Lakeisha is one of the most discriminated names in human resources, like jobs, all of those things. Like there's research that Lakeisha and Jerome, if you didn't know, are two of the most discriminated against ethnic, as they call it, names for us, right? So that is why I continued with that name, because, you know, hiding who I am, that's a part of who I am, something that, you know, I guess I could change if I wanted to, but, you know, my name, my skin, those things are not going to change. And I'm proud now, finally, of, you know, my name. And somebody said, I've never met a baby Keisha. Like, we're all like, we're all adults now at this. It was like the 80s boom of Lakeisha, right? So yeah, it's why I refuse to change the name. I've thought about it. Like, I've lost sleep over this, honestly, but I'm in year 6 here. I'm thriving. And I think having that as a part of storytelling is a huge part of business, and having those stories to tell, like you know, standing firm in your decision to pitch your original idea, and me standing firm and, you know, being proud of the name that my mother gave me is something that, again, a nuance to being in business and being underrepresented that we don't, you know, talk about enough, and why we need these spaces.
Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. And Jerome's, if you're watching, we love you.
Love you. We
all the
love
Jerome's and
you.
Keishas out there.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's crazy. Like the stuff that we research. And I was talking yesterday to some people in public health, and we were talking about how, like, this period of time will become case studies, and researchers will be researching and being in business. And one of the things we haven't heard a lot from is the SBA in all of this. So I'm holding firm that the SBA is just kind of like, hush hush, like, don't talk about us, we won't change anything.
Yeah,
because
listen,
certifications are
because
coming through
it's
quickly.
a Wild West right now.
It is the Wild Wild West. I just submitted for some SBA certifications for some clients, and they came back with the speed of Wilma Rudolph. Okay, speed. They were calling like, hello, we're just checking in to make sure you got all your documents. Like, so I think this is the time of the entrepreneur. This is a time to capitalize on getting those business ideas out of your brain, writing them down, getting business plans, and joining groups like the Black Clarksville Business Group to really cultivate a space. It's like an incubator. Like you said, an incubator. We can take you from idea to scale, and from scale to millions, if we all just stick together. We have it. We have the knowledge. We have the base. Someone asked me, what is my gift to the world? And I said, knowledge transfer. You know, transfer of knowledge.
That's such a great question.
And you know, as we evolve into like the people we are, like, I still feel like what I want to be when I grow up type. Like, I'm an adult. That's crazy. Somebody let me be an adult with kids and grandkids. But it's definitely transfer of knowledge, because I think having a lot of knowledge is not good. It's transferring that knowledge and applying it, right? Just holding on to knowledge. And some people, you know, they want to gatekeep, because let's be real about being a Black woman, Black man in business. Some things go down, right? There's a lot of cattiness. There's a lot of backstabbing, and I'm probably in all businesses, right? That happens, and it makes you really protective of your brand, your ideas, and all of these things. And it makes you really consider where to share, right? Am I going to share my idea in this space? And then I see somebody posting on Facebook that they're launching this new business that I just talked about in this business group. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, right? It's like, how do you beat or break or change that narrative, right? And I think that's one of the things that we're also trying to cultivate. And I guess, so let's talk about that, right? So, like, what the heck is the Black Clarksville Business Group? Yeah. So we meet monthly, to network, to referral share. But we also have these other back end pieces for you to get education, training, really build your community, ask these honest questions, lunch and learns and different things. So, right, we are creating this space where someone might come in and just have the seed and want to grow and build, but there is that fear of someone stealing your idea. So I think what we're trying to do is like really be genuine in the ask when you come into the group, that you are here for the best purposes possible, that you understand. We have that conversation straight up. I think that's something that we're not shying away from because it happens. It's honest. We do have the paperwork in place to nip some of that in the bud, but I think it has to be said, and it has to be, we have to be really honest about some of the stuff that's happening. And I think when you're honest about it and you check people at the door to come with like those right intentions, then you can build the space where stuff like that doesn't happen. I could really see a shift in people, even like in the first meeting, of like how they were communicating before and after we talked about that. Yeah. And it was like, yeah, we elephants in the room. We get it. We know how this gets down. Like, let's go ahead and call it what it is. But also, we're grown and we're all going to look each other in the face right here and make this agreement, and also sign the paperwork agreement.
Right.
that's not how
this is. On the dotted line right here. Sign right here. Yeah.
Yeah. And no shame about that, right? There's no hiding that thing. It's not in some small print somewhere. If we're going to fix the problem, we have to be honest about the problem.
Right.
And I think that's something that just is what it is. You know me, I'm very straightforward. I'm kind of no nonsense. Sometimes, unfortunately, that gets taken as rude. But I think that's where the message gets mixed up. When you're not clear, when you're kind of pussyfooting around the thing. But like you said, that is the narrative. That is the thing that it's not even a narrative. It happens. I have had it happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so calling it out and like being honest about that, I think that's one thing that is a draw for the business group, because we want everybody to come in authentically. We want everybody to feel comfortable and be safe. And we're not afraid to have those tough conversations on the front end to ensure that we are really creating a supportive and productive ecosystem.
And that's another part of business that you don't understand is contracts, and having a lawyer or some type of people to help you create those agreements when you're doing business with somebody. It's all fun and games until you and your best friend, create this business, and then you fall out because of money or something. And then you're like, who's on first? Who takes what? Or, how does this work out? And you don't have those agreements. So again, having a resource library of examples, digital downloads, like these are all things that are going to be available to members for the group in their member portal. But one of the things I'm really excited about is I got the email for the delivery of our ribbon cutting ribbons. I can't wait to see them. So we're going to officially be doing ribbon cuttings for businesses that join the group. And it's a brown ribbon with the Black Clarksville logo on it. And you get to take it with you, as well as our stickers for our welcome folders. So it's the little things, like Tiffany and I are both like super extra. Okay. Like when we do stuff, it is so extra, and I love every bit of it. Like I love being in a space where I can be like super extra and not be like, you're doing the most, right? Cause if you think I'm doing the most, it's probably because you're not doing enough. Yes. So I'm so excited about that. The little ribbon, showcasing you and highlighting you. The directory has so many different businesses in it that you'll have access to, being able to have marketing materials. And we're working on a magazine that will again highlight, and you'll be able to buy what do you call ad space? Yeah, to highlight your business as well. So just so many things that I think is going to, I know will be amazing for your reach, your business. Because again, we're talking about doing things that make sense and are a return on investment for you. This is the return on investment on joining this group is way more than what you're paying into it. Way more.
I mean, hello, we just talked about how extra we are.
Yeah.
But I think it's just people feel like Black-owned businesses deserve, right? Like, why should your ribbon cutting be custom and it be something special, and you get that same high level of service?
Yes. Put pictures for your social media. Like I'm telling you, we have all these amazing people that are able to do. You want to get space you're opening a brick and mortar. We have realtors that can help you find a space and, have your best interests at heart. Vetting people is the hardest part. And I'm telling you, this is the biggest lesson learned in being in business. If you take nothing from this, episode is hiring people and vetting people in your business and people to work with, like getting ripped off because of some of these people who are making claims that they're experts in XYZ. They can't do it. They don't know the system, all of these things. It happens to all of us. One, take it as a lesson learned, but two, also find spaces like what we're trying to create where they're vetted, and that we personally can vouch for them, and why coming in, we have these agreements because our names are on the line saying that we've vetted these people and that we recommended them. So, yeah, must do.
No, 1,000%. 1,000%.
Awesome. So what else about the business group or anything else that you want to kind of highlight to get everybody excited about first Black Clarksville Business Group's first millionaire? Who's going to be it? Yeah. Raise your hand, step forward, come join us, or anything else that's going on, because there's so much going on. I think people also say there's nothing going on here. So that's not true, because if you follow Tiffany, this girl, I don't know when she sleeps because she's always somewhere.
Yeah, I think I'm just excited about this era, right? So yes, Wild West, up in arms. This administration is doing a lot of unprecedented things. And it's scary and it's confusing and it's overwhelming. But I think also we're rounding out Q1. We're moving into Q2. I truly think like a lot of people are in this space of like, no one is going to save me. I have to bet on me. So I just feel so grateful and so excited about what that means and like the growth of Black Clarksville in general, right? So to be still doing some of our cornerstone events like Clarksville Juneteenth Block Party, but then also launching these new initiatives that give more people a chance to get involved and to do things with people who look and think like them, who they can connect with and grow with. A lot of people are here looking for community. We just relaunched 2 Mile Tuesday now that it's nice outside. And even that, like you said, like you go to the networking, make sure that there's so many new people, all new at 2 Mile Tuesday, except for like one other person. So there's such a hungry Black community out here right now. And I'm just really excited that we're now able to really tap into entrepreneurs. People would ask me about that. They come to the mixers. They're always, fantastic and great new people. But then they ask like, what else do you guys do for business support? Is there a space that I can take 2 minutes to stand up and tell everybody about my business? Do you guys offer training? So we did the full program with Grow with Google. That was fantastic. And like learning through their software and how, that can be utilized in different business tips. And people were still like, what else? What next? What do we want? So to be able to satiate that is so exciting for me. And then to be able to do it at such a high level, for my people. Just feels really good. And I hope people see the value in it. Like the people that have signed up so far have been super excited, which has been so great, right? You launch something and you're like, are they gonna? But it's like, if you build it, they'll come. And if it's quality, they'll stay. So that's what I'm really excited about. I hope people really understand that. You can go to blkclarksville.com/BCBG and get the full rundown of what's offered. Lakeisha mentioned it a little bit earlier, like you get so much bang for your buck, even down to advertising, full directory on our page. Like we've really built this thing out to make sure that your business gets highlighted and you feel supported by the business group. And it's not just, oh, I'm a member of this thing, and then it kind of dies off. We recognize what we have in Black Clarksville as far as a platform and an audience, and we want to make sure that we're sharing that with the businesses that come in, that we're being supportive. We're also helping to promote and uplift and put them in front of their target audience and clientele. So just exciting. Like it's still new and fresh, but like you said, what does amazing look like? Amazing looks like everybody knows about it and are participating and telling their friends. And when you come to Clarksville, it's like, oh, you're Black, you should know about Black Clarksville. Oh, you have a business? You should be in the business group. And like really being able to support this community in an amazing way.
Yeah. And for those allies who are listening, we definitely want and need your help as well. Like we
For
can't do
sure.
this alone. Sponsorship opportunities are absolutely available, and hosting someone, sponsoring someone to be in the program who maybe not in a position to fund themselves. We are looking for sponsors and all of the things that we need, instructors, everything, right? So if you have a way and you think you have something to contribute, definitely reach out to Tiffany or I. The show notes, of course, will have where you can find and follow Tiffany, Black Clarksville, or According to Plan events, because all of those things you need in your life. And we hope that you have enjoyed this episode. It's very niche, I know, and local, but I definitely wanted to use my platform, of course, to get the word out about how awesome Clarksville's Black community is and get somebody in. Because I know this was like a saving grace for me. I don't know if I probably told you this like 100 times already, but I isolated. You know, it was COVID, so I didn't get out the house, and it was depressing. And I was like, I hate it here. And then I semi-stalked Tiffany, and then I got out, and there was so much stuff to do. And I was like, oh my God, it's amazing here. And now I absolutely love it. And I'm so happy to be connected and that we are the best of friends now. Your family's amazing too. Oh my God. I had so much fun. This is like off topic. And like, I had so much fun at her birthday party.
But we're like that. You know what I mean? Like we've always been. And I think this is like what you said, like what your gift is to the world. I think my gift to the world is like connection and community building. My house was the house, right? All the kids came over after school. We were the Super Bowl house. We were the everything. It's always been this communal thing. And so I feel like naturally I just build community, and we've never met a stranger.
Yeah.
And nice. as you could see from my family, like
yes. Tell your brother I'm sorry, like, and be my friend again. I'm sorry.
No, they've been about you. They were like, y'all were so fun. So
nice. Yeah.
Well, so we're the best of friends, and now we're business partners. And I think that also is something too, like there's the authenticity of like what brought us together, and then naturally both being like, yeah, let's continue to help our community and grow. And like, you know, it's been awesome.
Yeah. So this is probably not the last episode with Tiffany, because we have so much to share. Maybe we'll do like a quarterly update on the business group and how it's growing, and see that. And you all can follow along our journey of creating this amazing space. But until then, you can follow both of us, of course, on social media. Everything will be in the show notes. And thanks so much for watching, listening, however you're digesting this episode. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, Tiff.
Either way, we're gonna get better.